Let's chat about making ethical decisions. Research indicates that humans tend to conform to the goals or ideas of their group and are unlikely to go against the group, even when they know the group is wrong. The group may be friends, coworkers, or the organization. Rigid hierarchy diminishes the individual's feeling of control over a situation and can make him or her feel anonymous in the organization, allowing for the disassociation of responsibility for actions. Individuals will say they are just a cog in a wheel or that they set the rules, not me. When individuals are insecure or fearful, they may act against their own values. As the economy tightens and organizations downsize, insecurity and fear of job loss become widespread. Moral actions are not isolated. They take place in social contexts, and situational variables heavily influence our moral actions. In jobs where employees are responsible for frequent resolution of moral conflicts, they are likely to continue to advance in moral development and be consistent in ethical behavior. Those who seldom resolve moral conflicts in the jobs may be uncertain how to proceed when confronted with a moral dilemma. Lacking confidence in the ability to make the right choice, they often take the easy way out, resulting in inappropriate behavior. From an organizational culture perspective, the organization's norms heavily influence the employee behavior. If the organization's code of ethics says one thing, but people behave differently, individuals are likely to follow the norms of behavior they see demonstrated instead of what is stated in the formal code. If the organization allows for strong autonomy among employees, workers are more likely to act ethically than those in rigid hierarchical organizations where individuals have little sense of control. Positive and negative reinforcement of ethical behavior influences a person's moral actions. If the job allows a person to win by behaving unethically, improper behavior becomes the norm. For example, when the employee who gets the numbers at any cost receives the highest bonus, that inappropriate behavior is modeled by other employees. What makes people engaged in unethical behavior? Insecurity, fear of job loss. We see that this in downsizing, mergers, hostile takeovers, in the rank and yank performance evaluation systems as well. Psychological insecurity, when bosses who are threatened and controlling, and in a competitive environment. And lastly, materialistic focus on the bottom line concerns over values. Bonus pay systems with earnings at risk, and large pay disparities between levels. Ethical dilemmas occur at all levels in the organizations. It's not just a problem for top management. Supervisors and shop foremen face safety violations, inappropriate use of company resources, manipulation of time cards, and scheduling conflicts. Perhaps the most difficult of all the decisions regarding reductions in force. In many cases, there is no one clear solution to the problem. Instead, there may be multiple stakeholder groups who will be affected by the outcome of the decision, each expecting their personal interests to be protected. Managers must make ethical decisions even when it's impossible to know all the impending consequences of that decision. Time pressures and the stress of limited resources may require a decision even when there is no clear right answer to the problem. The Markkula Center for Applied Ethics suggests the following framework to evaluate issues and make ethical decisions. First, recognize that this is a decision that involves a choice between a variety of alternatives. It may be more about what is right than about what is legal. Next, understand the facts of the issue. Consider what groups or stakeholders are involved and how they will be affected by the various options. Third, evaluate the options according to the various ethical principles. Next, test your decision ethically. Is this the decision you would want on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper or as the top story of your evening news? And lastly, consider how best to act on your decision and what has been learned in the process. Based on the ethical theories discussed last week, here are some significant questions that we might ask when making ethical decisions. From a utilitarian standpoint, which option will produce the most good and do the least harm? From an imperative rights perspective, what option best respects the rights of all stakeholders? From a distributive justice perspective, which option produces a fair distribution of benefits and costs for all stakeholders? From the caring perspective, which option cares for people with whom you have a special relationship? And lastly, from a virtue perspective, which option leads you to act as the sort of person you want to be?